Hey everybody. So I did a video earlier. It's kind of unprepared, really. So I was really tired, and I had just woken up, and it was still really cold outside. Uh, but anyhow, I just kind of pieced it together. Just me reading some places from Scripture that mention Pesach and the Feast of Matzah, so Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And I figured I would just share that video with you. You know, um, I initially had started out, I was just going to share the scriptures with some family. And then I was like, why not just make a whole video out of it and share it with everybody? So I'm going to share that video. I'm going to piece it together with this one here. And I'm going to share those videos with you about, like I said, Passover and unleavened bread. And I hope you enjoy it. It is kind of groggy videos. It's a little bit long. I tried to pick out as many verses as I could think of that mentioned unleavened bread and Passover. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you have a wonderful Passover, and I hope you have a wonderful Feast of Unleavened Bread. I hope it's filled with joy and love and laughter. Like I said, I was really tired in the video, so please excuse my tiredness. And I didn't, usually it takes me weeks or months or, even longer to piece some of my videos together because I research so much, and then I try to, put the words together to say and everything. But this was a wing it video, and I go, okay, I'm just going to read scripture. I'm just going to read scripture that, talks about Pesach or unleavened bread, and that's what I did. So excuse the video, but I hope you enjoy it. I hope it blesses you, and I hope it gives you a little bit more insight on Passover and unleavened bread, Pesach, and Feast of Matzah. I love you all. Mishpaka and Shalom. All right, so we're going to start in Exodus 12. Excuse me. Then Yahuwah spoke to Moshe and to Aaron in the land of Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim is Egypt, saying, "This new moon is the beginning of new moons for you. It is the first new moon of the year for you. Speak to all the congregation of Israel, saying, on the 10th day of this new moon, each one of them is to take for himself a lamb, according to the house of his fathers, a lamb for a household. And if the household is too small for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next to his house take it according to the number of the beings according to each man's needs. You make your count for the lamb. Let the lamb be a perfect one, a year-old male. Take it from the sheep or from the goats. And you shall keep it until the 14th day of the same new moon." This is a new month, and they measured it by each new moon. "Then all the assembly of the congregation of Israel shall slay it between the evenings, and they shall take some of the blood and put it on the 2 doorposts and on the lintel of the houses where they eat it. And they shall eat the flesh on that night, roasted with fire, with unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs. They shall eat it." So Passover meal is so simple. Have a barbecue. You're going to roast your lamb over fire. You're going to have bitter herbs, and you're going to have unleavened bread. Do not eat it raw. nor boiled at all with water, but roasted in fire, its head with its legs and its inward parts, and do not leave it until morning. And what remains of it until morning you are to burn with fire. So if you do not finish all of your lamb, then burn the rest of it until it's ashes. Just burn it with fire. Don't wait any till morning. And this is how you are to eat it: your loins girded, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it in haste. It is the Pesach, or Passover, of Yahuwah. A lot of people say that the Passover is for the Jews. You can point them to this verse right here in Exodus 12:11. It says this is the Pesach of Yahuwah. And if they have an English Bible, it'll say this is the Passover of God or the Lord. I guess I should have said maybe if they had a New King James or any of the other versions of the Bible. All right, let's see. And I shall pass through the land of Mitzrayim, remember that's Egypt, on that night, and strike all the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, both man and beast, and on all the mighty ones, which are the kings of Mitzrayim. And I shall execute judgment. I am Yahuwah. So I remember when I used to go to church, I remember being told it was an angel of death that passed over. I don't think I was ever told that it was Yah himself who passed over. But right here it says that I'm on 12:12, and I shall pass through the land of Mitzrayim on that night, and strike all the firstborns of the land of Mitzrayim, both men and beasts, and all the mighty ones of Mitzrayim, and I shall execute judgment. I am Yahuwah. So he was the one that passed over. And the blood shall be a sign for you on the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, excuse me, I'm sorry. Where'd I go? And the blood shall be a sign for you on the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I shall pass over you, and let the plague not come on you to destroy you, when I strike the land of Mitzrayim. And this day shall become to you a remembrance, and you shall celebrate it as a festival to Yahuwah throughout your generations. So this is every generation. Celebrate it as a festival, an everlasting law. So this means that we are to celebrate this forever. Forever. We're supposed to celebrate this, all the time. This isn't just something for the Jews. This isn't just something for Old Testament. This is for all of Yah's people forever. Okay, so that's the Passover, the Pesach. Now, we're going to read about unleavened bread. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. Indeed, on the first day you cause leaven to cease from your houses. For whoever eats leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that being shall be cut off from Israel. Now, so during this time, we are to throw out anything that we have that has leaven in it, or it can just be put away kind of unseen It has to be untouched, and it has to be untouched until the end of the feast, the end of the festival. So unleavened bread is pretty much bread without yeast, bread without baking soda, anything that's going to make it rise. Don't let your bread sit out too long, because then natural yeast from the air will start to produce itself within the bread. Remember, they had to make this stuff pretty quickly, and make it fast. So a lot of their the unleavened bread, it was pretty much water, flour, olive oil. So it's very simple. You just kind of make that, put it together, and cook it up, and that's your unleavened bread. I know a lot of people add different things to make it, have a better flavor. Maybe put a little bit of salt in there. I don't know, add rosemary, whatever you like. Just don't put, any baking soda, any yeast, or anything like that in there. So that's your unleavened bread. And remember, we are Israel. Remember when Yahuwah changed Jacob's name, and he says, "You will no longer be called Jacob. You'll be called Israel." And so that's why we are Israel. Because Jacob and his wife bore the tribes of Israel, and if we read over the New Testament, the Messiah has come for his tribes, and when we accept him, then we become part of his tribe. We are now part of Israel. Our Messiah is part of the tribe of Judah, the line of David, and so we are a part of that tribe. So when it says that we shall be cut off from Israel, then it means that we're cut off from the kingdom too, because when you read, I believe it's over in Revelations, but it talks about the 12 tribes, and there's a gate for each tribe into the kingdom. And if you're not part of one of those tribes, whether by blood, ancestry, whatever, or you're grafted in like the new olive branch into by the Messiah into the tribe of Judah, then you do not get into the kingdom. So when it says you shall be cut off from Israel, that means we're cut off from the kingdom. So that's very important. Okay, we're on. It's early. We are on Exodus 12, or Shemoth 12:16. And on the first day is a set-apart gathering, and on the seventh day you have a set-apart gathering. So you have your Pesach, and it happened in evening, and the next day is unleavened bread. So it says on the first day is your set-apart gathering. Set apart means holy, kadosh. It said set apart. It's just like having a Sabbath. This is a high Sabbath, so it's very important. And on the seventh day is also a high Sabbath. It's a set apart day as well. So we set this day apart, unlike any other day. So it says on the first day is a set apart gathering, and on the seventh day you have a set apart gathering. No work at all is done on them. Only that which is eaten by every being, that alone is prepared by you. So whereas the regular Sabbaths, like the weekly Sabbaths, we're supposed to prepare everything the day before. So we don't have to do any work, any cooking, nothing on that Sabbath. But right here it's saying on the set apart gathering for the 1st and the 7th, it's okay to prepare food. Don't clean, don't work, don't do anything else. Spend time in the Word and prayer, praising with family, that kind of thing. But you can cook on this day. So we can prepare food on the 1st and 7th set apart day of the unleavened bread. That's okay. So, and on the 1st day is a set apart gathering, and on the 7th day you have a set apart gathering. No work at all is to be done on them, only that which is eaten by every being, that alone is prepared by you. And you shall guard the festival of Matzah, which is the feast of unleavened bread. For on this same day I brought your divisions out of the land of Mitzrayim, Egypt, and you shall guard this day throughout your generations, an everlasting law. In the 1st month, on the 14th day of the new month, in the evening, you shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the new moon in the evening. Now, he wasn't going by the Gregorian calendar. Our calendar has been changed many, many times. They were going by a priestly calendar. So our 14th day and their 14th day looks very different. So you have to figure out through scripture which calendar to follow. You know, as you read through scripture and you try to pinpoint the right days for his feasts, so that we're not worshiping him on an unclean day, and that we're worshiping him on the proper day, then we need to know, how to set up our calendar. We know that if you go out there and you look at that new moon and you realize that that's the beginning of months, then you have your beginning of months. And then you count, 14 days, and that will be your Passover. So there's a lot more. That's a discussion for another video. But anyhow, we'll continue reading. In the 1st month, on the 14th day of the new moon, in the evening you shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the new moon in the evening. For 7 days no leaven is to be found in your houses. For if anyone eats what is leavened, that same being shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether a sojourner or a native of the land. Do not, see it right here. And people are like, oh, well, it's not for me. And it says, so, whether sojourner or native. So that's not for people just over in Israel. And it's not just for the Jews. So it says whether sojourner or native of the land. Do not eat that which is leavened in all of your dwellings. You are to eat unleavened bread. And Moshe called for all the elders of Israel and said to them, go out and take lambs for yourselves according to your clans, and slay the Pesach, the Passover. And you shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the doorposts with the blood that is in the basin. And you, none of you shall go out of the door of his house until morning. And Yahuwah shall pass on to smite the Mitzrites, which is the Egyptians, and shall see the blood on the lintel and on the doorpost, and Yahuwah shall pass over the door, and not allow the destroyer to come into your houses to smite you. And you shall guard this word as a law for you and your sons forever. And it shall be, when you come to the land which Yahuwah gives you, and he promised that you shall guard this service, and it shall be, when your children say to you, what does this service mean to you? Then you shall say, it is the Pesach, slaughtering of Yahuwah, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Mitzrayim, when he smote the Mitzrites, and delivered our households. And the people bowed their heads and did obeisance. And the children of Israel went away and did so, as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe and Aaron, so they did. And it came to be at midnight that Yahuwah struck all the firstborns in the land of Mitzrayim, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sat on his throne, to the firstborn of the captives who was in the dungeon, and all of the firstborns of livestock. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants, and all the Mitzrites, and there was a great cry in Mitzrayim, for there was not a house where there was not a dead one. Then he called for Moshe and Aaron by night, and said, arise, go out from the midst of my people, both you and the children of Israel, and go serve Yahuwah as you have said. Take both of your flocks and your herds, as you have said, and go. Then you shall bless me too. And the Mitzrites were strong, and the people were strong on the people to hasten to send them away out of the land. For they said, we are all dying. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, having their kneading bowls bound up in their garments on their shoulders. And the children of Israel had done according to the word of Moshe, and they had asked from the Mitzrites objects of silver and objects of gold and garments. And Yahuwah gave the people favor in the eyes of the Mitzrites, so that they gave them what they asked, and they plundered the Mitzrites. And the children of Israel set out from Ramesses to Sukkot, about 600,000 men on foot, besides the little ones. And a mixed multitude went up with them too, also flocks and herds, very much livestock. And they baked unleavened cakes of the dough which they had brought out of Mitzrayim, for it was not leavened, since they were driven out of Mitzrayim, and had not been able to delay, nor had they prepared food for themselves. And the sojourn of the children of Israel, who lived in Mitzrayim, was 430 years. It's a long time. And it came to be at the end of the 430 years, on the same day, it came to be that all the divisions of Yahuwah went out from the land of Mitzrayim. It is a night of watches unto Yahuwah for bringing them out of the land of Mitzrayim. This is the night of watchers unto Yahuwah for all the children of Israel throughout their generations. And Yahuwah said to Moshe and Aaron, this is the law of Pesach, or Passover. No son of a foreigner is to eat of it. So the Pesach is for believers, people in covenant with Yahuwah. If these people are not in covenant with Yahuwah, then they should not be eating the Pesach. It says, but any servant of a man, but any servant a man has bought for silver, when you have circumcised him, oh my gosh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. When you have circumcised him, let him eat of it. So, circumcision was a big thing. It was all the pagans, all the Gentiles, they were uncircumcised. And when you came into the house of Yahuwah, you would become circumcised. And in the, when the Messiah came on scene, he spoke of having a circumcised heart. So this whole festival of unleavened bread and everything, it has a lot to do with how you are in your heart. Have you circumcised your heart? Have you, let go of all of your pride? Have you let go of all of your fleshly desires? Have you, turned your heart to Yahuwah? Have you turned your ways to Him? Let go of your ways and understand that His ways are best. Are you coming in covenant with Him and His family and His ways? So when we become circumcised of our hearts, we are giving our hearts fully to Him, trusting in Him and in all of His ways. It's not about us. It's about Him. We might have to let go of things that we don't want, or things that we once enjoyed doing, or but when we let go of these things, He sees that our desire for Him and our real love for Him, and He sees that we want to follow Him and be His children. And just like any parent goes, hey, you shouldn't do that, that could hurt you, or I'd like it done this way because this is the better way, so that you don't waste your time, or don't eat that. That's actually going to make you sick in the long run, or maybe make you sick now. There's so many different variables of that, but it's like a good father. He is a good father, and He has set ways before us which are good and pure, and all of His ways have a specific message to us, and so all of His ways are good. So when we become circumcised for Him, then we become part of His family. So, let's see. A settler and a hired servant does not eat of it. It is eaten in one house. You are not to take any of the flesh outside of the house, nor are you to break any bone of it. All the congregation of Israel are to perform it. So it says all the congregation of Israel. Remember, when you're grafted in as the olive branch into the family Messiah, you have now become Israel. All the congregation of Israel are to perform it. And any outsider, if you are not a part of that covenant, if you're not a part of Israel, then you do not partake. If you have not circumcised your heart for Him, you are not to partake in the Passover. And when a sojourner sojourns with you, and shall perform Pesach to Yahuwah, let all his males be circumcised. And then let him come near to perform it. And he shall be as the native of the land. So once you have circumcised your heart for Yahuwah, you have now become like the natives of the land. So no longer are you a Gentile. A lot of people say, oh, I'm a Gentile believer. No, you're not. Once you become circumcised for Yahuwah, you have become grafted into Yisrael. You are now a native of Yisrael. You are no longer a Gentile. And when the sojourner sojourns with you, and shall perform the Pesach to Yahuwah, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and perform it. And he shall be as a native of the land. Let no uncircumcised eat of it. There is one Torah for the native born and for the sojourner who sojourns among you. So I know I've heard people say, oh, the Torah, that's for the Jews, oh, that's those festivals, that's for the Jews. They have the laws for the Jews, and then they have the laws for the Christians. Well, right here in the Word is proof there is one law for all of us. There's not a different law. There is one Torah for the native born and for the sojourner. Oh, I've got a phone call. Just a moment. Sorry about that. I had a phone call. So we were on Shemoth, or Exodus 12:49, and we were talking about there is one Torah for the native born and for the sojourner who sojourns among you. And all the children of Israel did as Yahuwah commanded Moshe and Aaron. So they did. And it came to be on the same day that Yahuwah brought the children of Israel out of the land of Mitzrayim according to their division. All right, so let's go over to Shemoth 34. I think we're going to do 34. Okay, let's see. So I haven't planned any of this out. I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to read. So let's see. Just going to go through here. Do 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 do. Na 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 na. Okay, so this was just a kind of a recap real quick. It was 34:25, and it just says, "Do not slay the blood of my slaughtering with leaven." So leavening is sin. Leavening can leaven the whole lump. Leaven can take your bread and even just a tiny bit and make it rise. So leavening is sin. It's being puffed up, prideful, just any kind of sin. So it says, "Do not let the blood of my slaughtering with leaven." Do not slay the blood. Sorry, do not slay the blood of my slaughtering with leaven, and do not let the slaughtering of the festival of Pesach remain until morning. So we had already read about not letting it stay till morning. Let's see. Let's go over to Leviticus 23. Weikra. 23. Yeah, I just figured I'd do this on a whim. Didn't plan it, didn't write anything out. So we're just going on a whim. Okay, so Weikra, Leviticus 23. And Yahuwah, we're all around. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, the appointed times of Yahuwah." Once again, it's not for the Jews, it's the appointed times of Yahuwah, which you are to proclaim as set apart gathering. These are holy gatherings. These are gatherings that are different from everybody else, because we are Yahuwah's people. So our gatherings are way different than the entire world. So we have our set apart gatherings for him. Let's see. My appointed times are these. Okay, let's see. So 3 is about the Sabbath. 6 days work is done, but the 7th day is a Sabbath of rest, a set-apart gathering. You do not work. It is a Sabbath to Yahuwah in all of your dwellings. These are the appointed times of Yahuwah's set-apart gatherings, which you are to proclaim at the appointed times. I think the light is going in and out on my phone here. Alright, so this is about Pesach. In the first new moon, on the 14th day of the new moon, between the evenings is the Pesach to Yahuwah. This is a Passover to our Creator. And on the 15th day of the new moon is the festival of Matzah, and that's the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Let's see, to Yahuwah, 7 days you eat unleavened bread. On the first day you have a set-apart gathering, and you do no servile work. And then you shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahuwah for 7 days. On the 7th day is a set-apart gathering. You do no servile work. And that there is the end for unleavened bread and Passover. So let's go to Numbers. And I can't read what I wrote over here. I did write, chapters where to find certain things, so I wasn't completely lost. I just wrote down the chapters of each part of the Bible. Let me see. What did that say? I can't even read what I wrote. I think that's 924. Bear with me. So, Bamidbar, or Numbers. Excuse me. Okay, so we're going to read Numbers 9, 2 through 14. Let's see. We'll just read from the beginning of 9. Let's see where it leads us. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe in the wilderness of Sinai, and in the first new moon of the 2nd year after they had come out of the land of Mitzrayim, saying, Now let the children of Israel perform the Pesach at its appointed time. On the 14th day of this new moon, between evenings, perform it at its appointed time, according to all its laws and right rulings, you perform it. And Moshe spoke to the children of Israel to perform the Pesach. So they performed the Pesach on the 14th day of the first new moon, between the evenings, in the wilderness of Sinai, according to all that Yahuwah commanded Moshe. So the children of Israel did. But there were men who were defiled for a being of a man, so that they were not able to perform the Pesach on that day. So they came before Moshe and Aaron that day, and those men said to him, We are defiled for the being of a man. Why are we withheld from bringing near the offering of Yahuwah at its appointed time among the children of Israel? And Moshe said to them, Wait, let me hear what Yahuwah commands concerning you. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, When any male of you or your generations is unclean for a being, or is far away on the journey, he shall still perform the Pesach of Yahuwah. On the 14th day of the 2nd new moon, between the evenings, they perform it. With unleavened bread and bitter herbs they eat it. They do not leave it until morning, and they do not break the bone of it. According to all the laws of the Pesach, they perform it. They do not leave it until morning, and they do not break the bone of it. According to all the laws of Pesach, they perform it. But the man who is clean and is not on a journey and has failed to perform the Pesach, that same being shall be cut off from among his people, because he did not bring the offering of Yahuwah at its appointed time. That man bears his sin. That man bears his sin. And when a sojourner sojourns among you, then he shall perform the Pesach of Yahuwah. He shall do so according to the law of the Pesach, and according to its right ruling. You have one law, both for the sojourner and the native of the land. You have one law for the sojourner. You're a sojourner and the native of the land. So one law for both. One law between these pages right here. Where are we? Let's see. Okay, so that was 9, 1 through 14. Let's go to 28:16. Let's see what that says. Once again, I haven't reread all of these to make sure what's what. I just wrote down a bunch of these and didn't go through them. Oh, forgive me, I have indigestion really bad. I don't know why. I ate spicy stuff last night. Yesterday I made chicken tiki marsala with mixed veggies. It was really good. My tummy didn't like it. Okay, 28:16. Oh, wait, right here. Okay, this was just letting them know. Okay, so it says, and in the first new moon on the 14th day is Pesach of Yahuwah. And on the 15th day of this new moon is a festival. For 7 days unleavened bread is eaten. On the first day is a set apart gathering. You do no servile work, and you shall bring near an offering made by fire, as an ascending offering to Yahuwah, 2 young bulls and 1 ram, and 7 lambs a year old, perfect ones, they are for you. And their grain offering, fine flour mixed with oil, prepared 3/10 of an ephah for a bull, and 2/10 of a ram. Prepare 1/10 of an ephah for each of the 7 lambs, and one goat as a sin offering to make atonement for you. So we don't do the sin offerings anymore because we have the Messiah. He is our sin offering. He was our last atonement. And over in Hebrews, which I should probably look that up so I can read that over in Hebrews to you if you don't know it. But it says, in Hebrews, it says, because you did not like the blood offering, I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember the whole verse word for word, that our lamb was slain for us. I'll be right back. I'm going to go look for that verse. All right, here we go. So we're going to read over here in Hebrews 10. It says, let's see. I'm just going to start right here at the beginning of 10. For the Torah, or some translations say the law, for the Torah having a shadow of the good matters to come, and not the image itself of the matters, was never able to make perfect those who drew near with the same slaughter offerings, which they offered continually year by year. So every year, they'd come up and they'd make the slaughterings. We were just reading, bring a lamb and a bull and so it says that every year they made these offerings. And it says, otherwise would they not have ceased to be offered? Because those who served, once cleansed, would have had no more consciousness of sin, but in those offerings is a reminder of sin year by year. For it is impossible for the blood of bulls and goats, it is impossible for the blood of bulls and goats to take away sin. Therefore, coming into the world, he says, slaughterings and meal offerings you did not desire, but a body you have prepared for me. The body. Whose body was that? In ascending offerings and offerings for sin, you did not delight. Then I said, see, I come, and the scroll of the book, it has been written concerning me. You to do your desire, O Elohim, saying above, slaughter and meal offerings and ascending offerings and offerings for sin you did not desire nor delight in, which are offered according to the Torah. Then he said, see, I come to do your desire, O Elohim. Elohim is God. He takes away the first to establish the second. So the Messiah took away the first of the bull and goat offerings to establish the second. His body was the body that was prepared. His body is the one that was slain for us, for the remission of our sins. Okay, let's see, where were we? He takes away the first to establish the second. By the desire we have been set apart through the offering of the body of Yahusha, that's our Messiah, once for all. And indeed, every priest stands day by day doing service and repeatedly offering the same slaughtering offerings, which are never able to take away sins. But he, having offered one slaughter offering for sins for all time, sat down at the right hand of Elohim. Our Messiah sat down at the right hand of Elohim. He is the one who took away our sins. Okay, let's see. Let's go back to where we were reading over here. We'll look at Numbers 33:3. Bimidbar, or Numbers 33:3. And here they are celebrating Passover over here. So they departed from Ramesses in the first new moon on the 15th day of the first new moon on the morrow of Pesach. The children of Israel went out with boldness before the eyes of all the Mitzrites. And the Mitzrites were burying all their firstborn, whom Yahuwah had stricken among them. Also on their mighty ones Yahuwah had executed judgment. The children of Israel departed from Ramesses and camped at Sukkot. And they departed from Sukkot and camped at Etham, which is on the edge of the wilderness. And this just talks about their journey in the wilderness. So let's go over to Devarim, which is Deuteronomy 16. Deuteronomy 16. Devarim 16. And we are just about out of the Torah portion. Okay, Deuteronomy 16, 1 through 6. Guard the new moon of Abib. So Abib is our first month. I believe it's the only month that actually has a name. If I remember correctly, Abib was like the first ripening of the wheat grain. And that's how you tell, that you're in the first month. Anyhow, it says, guard the new moon of Abib and perform the Pesach to Yahuwah, your Elohim. For in the new moon of Abib, Yahuwah your Elohim brought you out of Mitzrayim by night. I really hope that's not really loud and you can't hear me. I don't know what they're doing out there. Okay, sorry, I'm distracted. Guard your new moon of Abib and perform the Pesach to Yahuwah your Elohim. For in the new moon of Abib, Yahuwah your Elohim brought you out of Mitzrayim by night. And you shall slaughter the Pesach to Yahuwah your Elohim from the flock and the herd in the place where Yahuwah chooses to put his name. Eat no leavened bread with it. For 7 days you eat unleavened bread with it, bread of affliction, because you came out of the land of Mitzrayim in haste, so that you remember the day in which you came out of the land of Mitzrayim, all the days of your life, and no leaven should be seen with you in all your borders for 7 days, neither should any of the meat which you slaughtered in the evening on the first day stay all night until morning. So remember, we were saying, the meat that you prepare, the lamb that you prepare, make sure it's all gone. If you can't eat it all, burn the rest. You are not allowed to slaughter the Pesach within any of your gates which Yahuwah your Elohim gives you, but at the place where Yahuwah your Elohim chooses to make his name dwell. There you slaughter the Pesach in the evening at the going down of the sun at the appointed times you came out of Mitzrayim. And you shall roast and eat it in the place which Yahuwah your Elohim... I'm sorry, give me just a second. Okay, so, sorry for the disruption. The owner of the park is blowing leaves all over the place. He's cleaning up all the leaves. I believe we left off at Deuteronomy 16:7. And you shall roast and eat it in the place within Yahuwah your Elohim chooses. And in the morning you shall turn and go to your tents. 6 days you eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day there is a closing festival to Yahuwah your Elohim. You do no work. Okay, so we're going to stop there because then it starts talking about the Feast of Weeks. Let's see. We got 2nd Chronicles. We're going to find this here. Ve'aju. You'd think as much as I'm in this, I'd know exactly where to turn to. There we go. 2nd Chronicles 30. One through Dibri Hayamin Beit, which is 2nd Chronicles 30, 1 through, and we'll see where it takes us. Let's see. And Hezekiahu sent to all Israel and Yehuda, which is Judah. And he also wrote letters to Ephraim and Manasseh to come to the house of Yahuwah at Jerusalem, to perform the Pesach to Yahuwah Elohim of Israel. But the sovereign and his leaders and all the assembly in Jerusalem had taken counsel to perform the Pesach in the second new moon, for they were unable to perform it at its time, because not enough priests had set themselves apart, and the people had not gathered at Jerusalem. And the matter was right in the eyes of the sovereign, that's the king, and in the eyes of all the assembly. And they settled the matter to send a call to all Israel from Beersheba to Dan, to come to perform the Pesach to Yahuwah Elohim of Israel at Jerusalem, since they had not done it for a long time, as it is written. And the runners went to all Israel and Yehudah with the letters from the sovereign and the letters and his leaders, and spoke according to the command of the sovereign. Children of Israel turned back to Yahuwah Elohim of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Israel, so that he returns to the remnant of you who have escaped from the hand of the sovereign of Ashur. Let's see. Where am I at? And do not be like your fathers and like your brothers who trespass against Yahuwah Elohim of their fathers, so that he gave them up to ruin, as you see. Now do not stiffen your neck like your fathers. Stretch forth the hand to Yahuwah, and come to his set-apart place, which he has set apart forever, and serve Yahuwah your Elohim, so that his bringing wrath turns away from you. For if you do not turn back to Yahuwah, your brothers and your children shall be shown compassion by their captors. Did I read that right? For if you turn back to Yahuwah, your brothers and your children shall be shown compassion. I got a message, sorry. By their captors, even to return to this land. For Yahuwah your Elohim shows favor and compassion, and does not turn his face from you, if you turn back to him. And the runners passed from city to city throughout the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, as far as Zebulun. But they were laughing at them and mocking them. Some from Asher and Manasseh, and from Zebulun, however, humbled themselves and came to Jerusalem. Also, the hand of Elohim was on Yehudah, to give them one heart to do the command of the sovereign and the rulers at the word of Yahuwah. And many people, a very great assembly, gathered at Jerusalem to perform the festival of Matzah. This is the Feast of Unleavened Bread, in the second new moon. And they rose up, and they removed the slaughter place that were in Jerusalem, and they removed all the incense slaughter places, and threw them into the Wadi Kidron. Then they slew the Pesach on the 14th day of the second new moon, and the priests and the Levites were ashamed, and set themselves apart, and brought the ascending offerings to the house of Yahuwah. Let's see. Yeah, okay. And they stood in their place according to the right ruling, according to the Torah of Moshe, the man of Elohim. And the priest sprinkled the blood from the hand of the Levites. For many in the assemblies had not set themselves apart. Therefore the Levites went over the slaughter of the Pesachim for everyone who was not clean, to set them apart for Yahuwah. I think that's the last verse right here for that. Nope, it goes a little bit farther. For many of the people, many from Ephraim and Manasseh, Issachar and Zebulun, had not been cleansed. Yet they also ate Pesach, contrary to what was written. But Hezekiah prayed for them, saying, Yahuwah, who is good, provide atonement for everyone, who has prepared his heart to seek Elohim, Yahuwah Elohim of his fathers, though he is not cleansed according to the cleansing of the set-apart place. And Yahuwah listened to Hezekiah and healed the people. And the children of Israel, who were in Jerusalem, performed the festival of Matzah 7 days with great joy. And the Levites and the priests praised Yahuwah day by day with instruments of praise before Yahuwah. Let's see. And Hezekiah spoke to the heart of all the Levites, those having good understanding concerning Yahuwah. So they ate during the appointed time 7 days, slaughterings of peace offerings, and making confessions to Yahuwah Elohim of their fathers. And all the assemblies took counsel to perform another 7 days, and they performed it another 7 days with joy. Alright, so we're going to turn to 35. So, Dibri HaYamin Beit, so 2nd Chronicles, 35:1. This is what happens when I don't have a clean week, able to sit down and prepare all this out. Excuse me. I'm left with trying to figure out where to go from here. We've had a long, hard work week. And tonight is Pesach. So I'm going, oh my gosh, I did not get the video out that I wanted to put out. So here I am. I'm winging it, and I hope it's not too cringy, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Okay, let's see. Oh, we are at... I'm so tired, so bear with me. That's why the beginning of the video I was laying down. I'm like, oh, I gotta do this, but I'm so tired. I'm gonna do it. Here I am rambling. I'm gonna get back to this right here. Okay. So 35, 1 through 19. And I might go a little bit farther. Oh, come on, what's up with my page here? My eyes are watered and everything else. What'd I say? 19? Yeah, let's see. Alright, just making sure this is relevant. Because like I said, I just wrote down a bunch of verses. And I wasn't sure if all these verses lined up with Pesach. So, alright. And Yoshiyahu performed the Pesach to Yahuwah in Jerusalem, and they slew the Pesach on the 14th day of the first new moon. And he set the priests in their duties and straightened them for the service of the house of Yahuwah, and said to the Levites who were teaching all Yisrael, who were set apart to Yahuwah, put the set-apart ark in the house of Shlomo, son of David, sovereign of Yisrael, built. It is no longer to be a burden on your shoulders. Now serve Yahuwah your Elohim and his people Yisrael, and prepare by the fathers houses according to your division, by the writing of David, sovereign of Yisrael, and by the writings of Shlomo his son, and stand in the set-apart place by the divisions of the fathers, houses of your brothers, and lay people, and the portions of the fathers' house of the Levites. And slay the Pesach, and set yourselves apart for him. I lost my place. There we are. And prepare for your brothers to do according to the word of Yahuwah by the hand of Moshe. And Yoshiyahu gave the lay persons lambs and young goats from the flock, all of the Pesachim, for everyone present, to the number of 30,000 and 3,000 cattle. These were from the sovereign's possession, so that's the king's possession. And his leaders contributed a voluntary offering of the people to the priest and to the Levites, the Hilkiah and the Zechariah and the Yehiel, leaders of the house of Elohim, gave to the priests for the Pesachim 2,600 and 300 cattle. Good morning. Where are we? And Conaniah, his brother, Shermayahu, and Nathanael, and Hashabiyahu, and Yeiel, and Yozabad, chief of the Levites, gave to the Levites for Pesachim 5,500 cattle. Where are we? How much we gotta go on? This one's 19, okay. And the service was prepared, and the priests stood in their places, and the Levites in their division, according to the command of the sovereign, and they slew the Pesach, and the priests sprinkled out of their hands while the Levites were skinned, and they removed the ascending offerings to give them the division of their fathers' houses of the lay people, and bring to Yahuwah, as it is written in the book of Moshe. This is Moses. And the same with the cattle. So they roasted the Pesach with fire, according to the right ruling, and they boiled the set-apart offering in pots, and in cauldrons, and in bowls, and brought them speedily to all the lay people. And afterwards they prepared for themselves and for the priests, because the priests and sons of Aaron were offering ascending offerings and fat until night. So the Levites prepared for themselves and for the priests and the sons of Aaron, and the singers and the sons of Asaph were in their places according to the command of David. And Asaph and Herman and Yeduthuin, the seer and the sovereign, and the gatekeepers at each gate did not have to leave their position, because their brothers the Levites prepared for them. And all the service of Yahuwah was prepared that day to perform the Pesach and to offer sending offerings on the slaughtering place of Yahuwah, according to the commands of the sovereign Yoshiyahu. And the children of Israel who were present performed the Pesach at that time and the festival of Matzah for 7 days. There had not been a Pesach performed in Israel like it since the days of Shemuel the prophet, and none of the sovereigns of Israel had performed such Pesach in Yoshiyahu performed, with the priests and the Levites and all Yehudah and Israel who were present, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem. In the 18th year of the reign of Yoshiyahu, this Pesach was performed. Okay, let's see. Alright, so that's the end of that one. Let's go to... Oh, I was going to go to Joshua first before all this, but that's okay. So that we got to go back. Go to Joshua. I don't remember where that's at. Oh, there it is. It's right after Deuteronomy. I'm tired. Okay. Yeah, I should have came to this right after Deuteronomy, and I didn't. Yehoshua. Alright, where are we at? Yehoshua 5:10 through 11. So let's look for Joshua 5:10 through 11. I hope you guys are following along with me. 10. And the children of Israel camped in Gilgal and performed the Pesach on the 14th day of the new moon at evening on the desert plains of Jericho. And they ate of the stored grain of the land on the morrow after the Pesach, unleavened bread and roasted grain on the same day. Let's see. We're going to go to, I think we're going to go to 2 Kings 23. So let's see. For some reason I feel like this one wasn't relevant. I could be totally wrong. So let's see. Melachim Bet, which is 2 Kings 23. '23, 21 through 29, I think. Wait, hold on. 23, 21 through 23. La 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 da 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 dum da dum dum dum. Let's see. And all the sovereigns, which is the kings, we're on 21, commanded all the people, saying, Prepare for Pesach to Yahuwah, your Elohim, as it is written in this book of the covenant. For such a Pesach has not been prepared since the days of the rulers who have ruled Israel, nor in the days of the sovereign of Israel and the sovereigns of Yehudah, the kings of Judah. But in the 18th year of the sovereign Yeshayahu, this Pesach was prepared before Yahuwah and Jerusalem. And also Yeshayahu put away those who consulted mediums and spiritists in the household of the mighty ones and idols, and all the abominations that were seen in the land of Yehuda and in Jerusalem, in order to establish the words of the Torah, which were written in the book that Hilkiyahu the priest found in the house of Yahuwah. And before him there was no sovereign, no king, like him, who turned back to Yahuwah with all his heart, and with all his being, and with all his might, according to all the Torah of Moshe. And after him none rose up like him. Alright, so let's go to Ezra. We're going to read Ezra. There, oops. Shoop. Past it. Looks like Ezra 6, 19, and 20. 6, 19, and 20. Let's see. And the sons of the exile performed the Pesach on the 14th day of the first new moon. Ooh. For the priests and the Levites had cleansed themselves. All of them were clean. And they slew the Pesach for all the sons of the exile, and for their brothers and the priests, and for themselves. We're going to go ahead and finish reading. And the children of Israel, who had returned from the exile, ate together with all who had separated themselves from the uncleanliness of the nations. I'm going to read that again. Listen to this. And the children of Israel, who had returned from the exile, ate together with all who had separated themselves from the uncleanliness of the nations. So that's why I keep saying, we need to set ourselves apart. We are, as we are told in Scripture, we are a set-apart people. We are a peculiar people. We are a holy people, a holy nation unto Yahuwah. And so if we are partaking in the uncleanliness of all the nations, then we are not for Yahuwah. We are putting the nations, we are putting the pagans, we are putting the Gentiles and the ways of the world above our Father in heaven. So we need to set ourselves apart. We need to separate ourselves from the uncleanliness of the nations, of the land, in order to seek Yahuwah Elohim of Israel. And they perform the festival of matzah, which is unleavened bread, 7 days with joy, for Yahuwah caused them to rejoice, and turned the heart of the sovereign of Ashur towards them, to strengthen their hands in the work of the house of Elohim, the Elohim of Israel. All right. So people, set yourselves apart. Ooh, oh, my feet, my legs, my hips. All right. We're going to go to, I think that's Ezekiel 45. I think. Let's see. What is my nose got to itch right now? Where was that? Let's see. Is that Ezekiel 45. Yehezekiel 45, 21. Turn to 45, 21. Alright, Ezekiel 45, 21. Let's see if this one's relevant. Like I said, I haven't read any of these. I've read over them because I went through this, but to have verses memorized, I didn't remember if this was relevant or not. Oh, let's see. In the first month, okay, yeah, so 45, 21 in Ezekiel. In the first month, on the 14th day of the new moon, you shall have Pesach, a festival of 7 days. Unleavened bread is eaten. And then it talks about the offerings that are to be prepared. But remember, we're in the time where the Messiah has already came, and we already read the verse in Hebrews. It talks about we do not desire the offerings of bulls and goats. So I'm not going to read further. Let's see. Let's go to the new covenant, the renewed covenant. It's not a new one. It just, he renewed the old covenant. I hate how the English Bibles have translated it to New Testament or New Covenant. It's actually, Cher'rie writings. It's Messianic writings. It's a renewed covenant. So they're taking the covenant that was and they just renewed it. So the Brit Hadasha is where we are at. We're in the second writings, which is the renewed covenant. We're going to go to Matthew 26:2. Matthew 26:2. Oh my goodness, where are we at? 25, 27. All right, Matthew 26:2 through 19. I promise we're almost done. Like, you kept me here forever and ever, and I'm here still, and you're still going on. Sorry. I promise I'm not crazy. I'm a really happy person. I'm quite goofy. Alright, Matthew 26:2 through 19. 26:2 through 19. Let's just go ahead and read 26:1 through 19. Alright, and it came to be when Yahusha, that's our Messiah, the one a lot of you call Jesus. So, Yahusha ended all these words, and he said to his taught ones, you know that after 2 days the Pesach takes place, and the son of Adam, which is the son of man, is to be delivered up to be impaled. Then the chief priests and the scribes and the elders of the people came together at the court of the high priest, who is called Caiaphas, and plotted to seize Yahusha by trickery and kill him. But they said, not at the festival, lest there be an uproar among the people. And when Yahusha was in Bethaniah, at the house of Shimon the leper, a woman came to him having an alabaster flask. It would help if I could see better too. Where are we at? I lost my place. A woman came to him having an alabaster flask of costly perfume, and she poured it on his head, and he sat at the table. And when his taught ones saw it, they were much displeased, saying, "To what purpose is this waste? For this perfume could have been sold for much and given to the poor." However, when Yahusha noticed it, he said to them, "Why do you trouble the woman? For she has done a good work towards me. For you always have the poor with you, but me you do not have always. For in pouring this perfume on my body, she did it for my burial. Truly I say to you, whenever this good news is proclaimed in all the world, what this woman has done shall be spoken of also to her remembrance." Then one of the 12 called Yehuda from Kerioth. I can't read that word. Kerioth. Went to the chief priest and said, "What would you give me to deliver him up to you?" And they counted out to him 30 pieces of silver. And from then on he was seeking an occasion to deliver him up. And on the first day of unleavened bread, the taught ones came to Yahusha, saying to him, "Where do you wish us to prepare for you to eat the Pesach?" And he said, "Go into the city to a certain man and say to him, 'The teacher says, my time is near. I am to perform the Pesach at your house with my taught ones.'" And the taught ones did as Yahusha had ordered them, and prepared the Pesach. And when evening came, he sat down with the 12. And while they were eating, he said, "Truly, truly, I say to you, one of you shall deliver me up." And they were deeply grieved, and began to say to him, each of them, "Master, is it I?" And he answered and said, "He who has dipped his hand with me in the dish, he shall deliver me up. Indeed, the Son of Adam goes as it has been written concerning him. But woe to the man by whom the Son of Adam is delivered up. It will have been good for the man if he had not been born." And Judah, he who delivered him up, answering, said, "Rabbi, is it I?" He said to him, "You have said it." And as they were eating, Yahusha took bread, and having blessed, broke and gave it to the taught ones, and said, "Take, eat, this is my body." And taking the cup and giving thanks, he gave it to them, saying, "Drink from it, all of you, for this is my blood, that of the renewed covenant, which is shed for many for the forgiveness of sins. But I say to you, I shall certainly not drink of the fruit of the vine from now on till the day when I drink it anew with you in the reign of my Father." No, I need to reposition my legs again. Okay, let's see. And having sung songs, they went out to the Mount of Olives. All right, so we ended up reading till 26:30. That's okay. We're going to read in Mark 14, and we're going to start in 1. Marcos. I say 14. My brain is not with it today. This is going to be a long video. Just trying to get all the Pesach in. Feast of Matzah. Verses out of the way. Not like out of the way, but I want to read them all. Okay, Mark 14, 1. 14, 1. So let's go. We're going to read. We're going to read until I feel like we've covered the topic of matzah and Pesach. Bread and Passover. Okay. 14. Now the Pesach and the festival of matzah was after 2 days, and the chief priests and the scribes were seeking how to take him through treachery, and to put him to death. And they said, Not at the festival, lest there shall be an uproar of the people. And while he was in Bethaniah, in the house of Shimon the leper, and sitting at the table, a woman came having an alabaster flask of perfume, genuine nard, very costly, and breaking the flask, she poured it on his head. But there were some who were much displeased among themselves, and said, Why was this perfume wasted? For it could have been sold for more than 300 denarii, and given to the poor. And they were scolding her. But Yahusha said, Leave her alone. Why do you trouble her? She has done a good work for me. For you have the poor with you always, but you are able to do good to them whenever you wish, but you do not always have me. What she has used, she took it beforehand to anoint my body for the burial. Truly I say to you, whenever this good news is proclaimed in all the world, what this woman did shall also be spoken of to her remembrance. And Yehuda from Cher'rie, one of the 12, went to the chief priest to deliver Yahusha up to them. And when they heard it, they were glad, and promised to give him silver, and he was seeking how to deliver him up conveniently. And on the first day of unleavened bread, when they were slaughtering the Pesach lamb, his taught ones said to him, Where do you wish us to go and prepare for you to eat the Pesach? And he sent out the 2 of his taught ones, and said to them, Go into the city, there is a man bearing a jar of water, shall meet you, follow him. And whenever he enters, say to the master of the house, The teacher says, Where is the guest room in which I am to eat the Pesach with my taught ones? And he shall show you a large upper room, furnished, ready. Prepare for us there. And his taught ones went out and came into the city, and found it as he had said to them, and they prepared the Pesach. And the evening having come, he came with the 12, and as they sat and ate, Yahusha said, Truly I say to you, one of you who is eating with me shall deliver me up. And they began to be grieved, and say to him one by one, Is it I? And another, Is it I? And he answering said to them, It is one of the 12, he who is dipping with me in the dish. The Son of Adam is indeed going, as it has been written of him, but woe to that man by whom the Son of Adam is delivered up. It would have been good for that man if he had not been born. And as they were eating, Yahusha took bread, having blessed, broke it, gave it to them, and said, Take, eat, this is my body. Taking the cup, giving thanks, he gave it to them, and they drank from it. And he said to them, This is my blood, that is the renewed covenant, which is shed for many. Truly I say to you, I shall certainly no more drink of the fruit of the vine till that day when I drink it anew in the reign of Elohim. And having sung a song, they went out to the Mount of Olives. All right, Luke 2:41. So let's go to 2:41. 2:41. We'll start at 40. And the child grew and became strong in spirit, being filled with wisdom, and the favor of Elohim was upon him. 41 says, and his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the festival of Pesach. And when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem according to the practice of the festival. I think that's all that was mentioned in Pesach. And no, we got 22. So go to Luke 22. Oops. Where are we at now? Lost my place. 22. Okay, go to Luke 22, and I think we're starting at 1. Just checking verses before it. Alright, 22. And the festival of Matzah drew near, which is called Pesach. So the festival was a festival of unleavened bread and Passover. And the chief priests and the scribes were seeking how to kill our Messiah, how to kill him, for they feared the people. And Satan entered into Yehuda, who was called man from Cher'rie, who was numbered among the 12. And he went and he spoke with the chief priests and captains, how he might deliver him up to them. And they were glad and agreed to give him silver. And he promised, and he was seeking an occasion to deliver him up to them away from the crowd. And the day of unleavened bread came when the Pesach had to be slaughtered. And he sent Kepha, which is Peter, and Johanan, which is John, saying, go and prepare the Pesach for us to eat. And they said to him, where do you wish us to prepare? And he said to them, see, as you enter into the city, a man shall meet you carrying a jar of water. Follow him into the house he enters. And you shall say to the master of the house, the teacher says to you, where is the guest room, where I might eat the Pesach with my taught ones? And he shall show you a large furnished upper room. Prepare it there. And going, they found it as he had said to them, and they prepared the Pesach. And when the hour had come, he sat down, and the 12 emissaries with him, and he said to them, with desire, I have desired to eat this Pesach with you before my suffering. For I say to you, I shall certainly not eat of it again until it is filled in the reign of Elohim. And taking the cup, giving thanks, he said, take this and divide it among yourselves. For I say to you, I shall certainly not drink of the fruit of the vine until the reign of Elohim comes. And take bread, giving thanks. He broke it, and he gave it to them, saying, this is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me. Likewise, the cup also, after supper, saying, this cup is the renewed covenant in my blood, which is shed for you. But see, the hand of him delivering me up is with me on this table. For indeed the son of Adam goes as it has been decreed, but woe to that man by whom he is delivering up. And they began to ask among themselves which of them it could be who was about to do this. And there also took place a dispute among them as to which of them seemed to be greater. And he said to them, Sovereigns of the nations, rule over them, and those who control them are called workers of good. But not so with you, but let him who is greatest among you be as the youngest, and the leader as the one who serves. For who is greater is the one who sits at the table, or the one who serves? Is it not the one who sits at the table? But I am in your midst as the one who serves. But you are those who have remained with me in my trials, and I covenant with you as my father covenanted for me a reign, to eat and drink at my table in my reign, and to sit on the thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And the master said, Shimon, Shimon, see, Satan has asked for you to sift you as wheat, but I have prayed for you that your belief should not fail. And when you have turned, strengthen your brothers. And he said to him, Master, I am prepared to go with you, both to prison and to death. And he said, I say to you, Kepha, the cock shall crow at all today until you have denied 3 times that you know me. And he said to them, When I sent you without purse and a bag and sandals, did you lack any? And they said, None at all. And he said to them, But now let him who has a purse take it, likewise also a bag, and let him who has no sword sell his garments and buy one. For I say to you that what has been written has yet to be accomplished in me. And he was reckoned with lawless ones. For that which refers to me has an end too. Let's see how far we were supposed to read on that one. Oh, I went way past. That's okay. So we'll stop there because we were supposed to stop at 15 and we're in 39. I just kind of got into it. Alright, so Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Yohanan 2. So John 2:13. Does your book look like this? Alright, hold on. 2. We got 2:13. Let's go here. 2:13. We're going to go at 2:12, Yohanan or John 2:12. After this, he went down to Kephar Nahum, which is Capernaum, he and his mother and his brothers and his taught ones, and they stayed not many days. And the Pesach of the Yehudim, which is the Passover for the Jews, was near, and Yahushua went up to Jerusalem, and he found in the set-apart place those selling oxen and sheep and doves, and the money changers sitting. And having made a whip of cords, he drove them all out of the set-apart place with the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the money changers' coins, and overturned tables. He had righteous anger because these people were making marketplaces in his father's house. Like the churches today, you see selling all kinds of stuff during their Sunday service. And he said to those selling doves, "Take these away. Do not make the house of my father a house of merchandise." And his taught ones remembered that it was written, "The ardor for your house has eaten me up." So that means the adore, it means great love or great zeal. So the adore, the great love, the great zeal for your house has eaten me up. And in Yehudim, the Yehudim answered and said to him, "What sign do you show us, since you were doing these?" Yehusha answered, and he said to them, Destroy this dwelling place, and in 3 days I shall rise it." Then the Yehudim said, "It took 46 years to build this dwelling place, and you're going to rise it up in 3 days?" But he spoke about the dwelling place of his body. So when he was raised from the dead, his taught ones remembered that he said this to them, and they believed the scriptures and the words which Yahuwah had said. And when he was in Jerusalem at the Pesach, at the festival, many believed in his name when they saw the signs which he was doing. We're going to go to Yohanan or John 6:4. Let's see. We'll go to 2. And a large crowd was following him because they saw his signs which he did on those who were sick. And Yehusha went up on the mountain, and there he sat down with his taught ones. And the Pesach was near, the festival of the Yehudim. Let's see. Then Yehusha, lifting up his eyes and seeing a large crowd coming towards him, said to Philip, "Where shall we buy bread for them to eat?" And this is where he feeds a bunch of people. Let's see. That would be quite a lot to read, and we're already over an hour in this video. Let's go to 11:55. Yohanan 11:55. If I read all that I wanted to read in here, this video would probably be very, very, very long. And I don't think anybody would sit through it. 11:55 says, oops. Let's see. Now the Pesach of the Yehudim was near, and many went from the country up to Jerusalem before the Pesach to set themselves apart. And so they were seeking Yehusha, and spoke among one another, standing in the set-apart place. "What do you think? Is he not coming to the festival at all?" Let's see. Let's go to 12:1. We'll just finish reading through here. And both the chief priests and the Pharisees had given a command that if anyone knew where he was, he should disclose it in order for them to seize him. So Yohanan or John 12:1 says, according to Yehusha, 6 days before Pesach, came to Beth Aniah, where Eleazar was, who had died, whom he had raised from the dead. Let's see, 13:1. And before the festival of Pesach, Yehusha, knowing that his hour had come, that he should move out of this world unto the Father, having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them till the end. He loved them to the end. Let's read 18:28. Oh, we were 27. Then Kepha denied it, and immediately a cock crowed. Remember we were reading that earlier? Then they led Yahusha from Caiaphas to the palace, and it was early, and they themselves did not go into the palace, lest they should be defiled, but that they might eat the Pesach. There's Pesach right there. All right. Where else are we gonna go? 28. We're gonna read till 39, I think. Yeah. Pilate therefore came out to them and said, "What accusations do you bring this man?" And they answered and said to him, "If he were not an evildoer, we would not have delivered him up to you." Then Pilate said to them, "You take him and judge him according to your law." The Yehudim said to him, "It is not right for us to put anyone to death," in order that the word of Yahusha might be filled, which he spoke, signifying by what death he was about to die. Then Pilate went back into the palace and called Yahusha and said to him, "Are you the sovereign of the Yehudim?" And Yahusha answered him, "Do you say this for yourself, or did others talk to you about me?" And Pilate answered, "Am I a Yehudi? Am I a Jew? Your own nation and the chief priests have delivered you to me. What do you do?" Yahusha answered, "My reign is not of this world. If my reign were of this world, my servants would fight so that I should not be delivered to the Yehudim. But now my reign is not from here." Then Pilate said to him, "You are a sovereign then, you're a king then." Yahusha answered, "You say it, because I am sovereign. For this I was born, and for this I have come into the world, that I should bear witness to truth. Everyone who is of the truth hears my voice." Pilate said to him, "What is truth?" And when he said this, he went out again to the Yehudim and said to them, "I find no guilt in him. But you have a habit that I shall release someone to you at the Pesach. Do you wish then that I release to you the sovereign of the Yehudim?" Then they all shouted again, saying, "Not this one, but Barabbas." And Barabbas was a robber. Okay. So let's go to 19:14. And it was the preparation day of the Pesach week, and about the 6th hour he said to the Yehudim, "See your sovereign." But they shouted, "Away, away, impale him." Pilate said to them, "Shall I impale your sovereign?" The chief priests answered, "We have no sovereign but Caesar." Let's go to Acts 12:4. May I see? Or Acts. Let's see, 12:4. So now the Messiah has been crucified. He has been gone for 3 days, and then he arose. Acts 12:4. Let's see. So when, let's see. I'll just go ahead and read 12 all the way to 4, or however, let's see. And about that time, Herodes the sovereign put forth his hands to do evil to some of the assembly, and he killed Jacob, so Jacob, the brother of Johanan, the brother of John, with the sword. And seeing that it was pleasing to the Yehudim, to the Jews, he proceeded further to arrest Kepha, which is Peter, as well. And they were the days of unleavened bread. So when he had seized him, he put him in prison, and delivered him to 4 squads of soldiers to watch over him, intending to bring him before the people after Pesach. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 5:7. We are just about done. If we weren't already an hour and a half in, I would have read a lot more. Okay, let's see. Let's read 1 Corinthians 5:4 down to 7. And in the name of Master Yahushua Messiah, when you are gathered together, and my spirit, with the power of our Master Yahushua Messiah, deliver such a one to Satan for destruction of the flesh, in order that his spirit be saved in the day of the Master Yahushua. Your boasting is not good. Do you not know how a little leaven leavens the entire lump? Therefore cleanse out the old leaven, so that you are a new lump, as you were unleavened. For also Messiah, our Pesach, was slaughtered for us. So then let's celebrate the festival, not with old leaven, nor with leaven of evil and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. So we are to get rid of all of the leaven in our lives. All right, let's do Hebrews 11. Let's see, 11:28. Let's see. Hebrews 11:28. By belief he performed the Pesach and the sprinkling of blood, lest he who destroyed the firstborn should touch them. By belief they passed through the Red Seas as by dry land. When the Mitzrites tried it, they were drowned. I want to read Ezekiel 44:24. I think that's what I have written down here. Ezekiel 44:24. And they are to stand as judges in the dispute, and judge it according to my right ruling, and they are to guard my Torah and my laws in all my appointed times and my set-apart Sabbaths, not to defile themselves by coming near a dead man, only for fathers or mothers, or a son or daughter, for a brother or brother. Okay, so let's see, I was going to read just 24, talking about, and they are to guard my Torah and my laws and all my appointed times and my set-apart Sabbaths. And then the last verse is, looks like Colossians 2:16 through 17. So Where are you? I will find it one day or someday. Yeah. Oh my goodness, where is it? I know I've passed it several times. Let's see. There we are. Okay. Colossians 2:16 through 17. Let no one therefore judge you in eating or in drinking or in respect of a festival or a new moon or a Sabbath. This is directed to the people of Yahuwah who have joined themselves to Israel, who are a part of the 12 tribes. This is not the other way around. And it said, which are a shadow of what is to come by the body of Messiah. Let no one deprive you of the prize, one who takes delight in false humility and worship of messengers, taking his stand on what he has not seen, puffed up by his fleshly mind, and not holding fast to the head, from whom all the body, nourished and knit together by joints and ligaments, grows with the growth of Elohim. If then you die with Messiah from the elementary matters of the world, why, as though living in the world, do you subject yourself to dogmas, to other religions? Well, that is it. And for my sketchy throw together, I hope you enjoyed it. I love you, and I thank you, and thank you for listening. Have a wonderful Pesach, and have a wonderful festival of Matzah. I hope everything is blessed and wonderful and peaceful and fun and joyful. I love you all.